Welcome to lesson 14.4, the Francophones in Alberta and the rest of Canada. We'll learn about them again, which we've already learned about, but we're going to look at them from today's perspective. So stick around and let's learn something. Today on lesson 14.4, we're going to look at how do Franco-Albertans keep their language alive and as well keep their identity strong. We are going to focus on the Francophones here in Alberta, but Francophones we need to know are all over Canada. It's not just Alberta. They stretch from coast to coast. And because of that, they've had an impact all over Canada. Many of our communities, even here in Alberta, have French names for places. There's French TV, French radio, Francophone schools, French immersion schools. But outside of Quebec, our Francophone community is small compared to that English-speaking majority population that is around them. So they do definitely have some challenges. Back in the early days of Canada, the French and the English, they played a role in those early days. We had New France, for example, and then through wars and negotiations and treaties and wars and treaties and all that kind of stuff, the British eventually gained control of New France. Today, a fifth of our population is of Canadian descent, of which many are attending those Francophone schools to maintain that identity, to maintain that cultural heritage. But you don't have to be Francophone to attend a French school. Francophones are the ones that are allowed to attend Francophone schools, but as a non-Francophone student, you can still go and study French. You can study French as a second language, for example, French as a second language classes here at school. You could even attend a French immersion school where all of your language of instruction is happening in French. Francophone school, everything is also happening in French, but there's a cultural component in a Francophone school as well. We're going to talk about the Official Languages Act next. Here are the official languages as they are represented in Canada today. We see that over 75% of Canada is part of the English-speaking population, and just under 23% is our French-speaking population. So even though both are declared official languages, more people are English-speaking than are French. And in the 1960s, the Anglophones and the Francophones, they didn't get along very well. So the government brought in the Royal Commission on Bilingualism and Biculturalism, and so they created this to occur. And the Royal Commission found that Francophones were considered to have second-rate status. So they were below that of the Anglophones in the country. They also found that the Francophones were underrepresented in civil service and business. They found that not enough decision-making power at the federal government were in Francophone hands. And outside of Quebec, there was very little educational opportunities for our Francophone community. The government responds by reinforcing bilingualism. And in 1969, that response turns into the Official Languages Act, which reinstates French and English as Canada's official languages, which means you have the right to use French or English in government services. You cannot be denied, and you must be given equal opportunity and equal access to use both those official languages because they are of equal status. The Official Languages Act also supports the language minorities, the official language minorities. So you are in Quebec as an Anglophone, you get language minority support if you are English speaking in Quebec. If you are outside of Quebec, where the English speakers are the majority, and you are a French speaker living outside of Quebec, you get support for your language French minority. And this is going to be a permanent protection in our Constitution, the Official Languages Act. And officially at the federal level, we are bilingual. And New Brunswick, the province of New Brunswick, is the only province in Canada today that is officially bilingual at the provincial level. And that is because of their large Acadian population. So you can go to New Brunswick and you can get all of your government services at the federal level, obviously, in either French or English, but also at the provincial level too. You can go and receive services at the French, using French or English. All other provinces are unilingual. They have one official language at the provincial level, and that is going to be English, or if you're in Quebec, that'll be French. But only New Brunswick is both. Only New Brunswick is both. And that means in those provinces, the services are not provided in both official languages. So if you are in Alberta, if you are in British Columbia, and you need a provincial service, you need to go and renew your license, for example. It's only going to be done in English. Quebec, however, they chose, although it's not official, they've been doing this since 1867. If you go to Quebec, you will probably be offered English for provincial services because there is a large Anglophone community there, but it's not legal. But they've been doing it since 1867. Now let's take a look more here at French in our province here in Alberta. Over 75,000 Albertans speak French as their first language. That's amazing. So we call them our Franco-Albertans. To keep this culture healthy, to keep the Francophone culture healthy and alive, we have Francophone schools which are run by Francophones. You have Francophone families who are in charge of Francophone school boards, who have Francophone schools that are run by Francophones. So it keeps that culture strong. We have over 30 Francophone schools here in the province. That's a lot. And they not only maintain their culture through these Francophone schools, but also in other areas as well. They've got TV stations, they've got radio stations, there's newspapers, there's different groups that belong to the Francophones that the Francophones are belonging to. And all that is leading to a healthy, thriving Francophone community here in our province. All right, I want you to head over to your notebook and complete the questions for this part of the chapter.